G'day ladies and gentlemen, ScottyD here from the Australia's Tabletop Wargaming Network, and welcome into another installment in our Wargaming Highlights series. Alright ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another installment for our Wargaming Highlights series here on the ATWN, which is our version of Battle Reports, where I, or maybe some of the other network members in the future, will be capturing games that they are playing, and sharing it with you guys and sharing some footage of their gameplay and how they actually go in the games. But before we jump into today's video, I want to thank each and every one of you who has been subscribing, liking our videos, commenting, doing all the free stuff on all the socials and such, as well as we start to really push the network and really start to almost unlock community monetization here on YouTube, as we're less than 200 watch hours away at the time of this video's release as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I want to thank each and every one of you for helping us to get there so far. Now, for today's Wargaming Highlights video, I am playing against Sam, and now Sam is bringing Chaos Knights. Now, I've played previously against Chaos Knights before, but an all War Dog build. Now, Sam is bringing her version of Chaos Knights, where she has got a Rampager, Big Knight, as well as a Lancer. Now, the Lancer is a Forge Wolrd Knight, if you're not too familiar. More commonly seen in Horus Heresy than 40k, but it does have 40k rules at the moment, and it can be used with the Chaos Knights Index. And so it was really good to play against Sam and to see how the Deathwatch Gladius goes up against it. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the action. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another Wargame Highlights here on the ATWN, and today I am playing against Sam. Sam, how you doing?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. So, we've got my Deathwatch Gladius going up against Sam's Chaos Knight list with some Demon allies. The mission that we are playing is Sweeping Engagement with Chosen Battlefield and Taken Hold. So this is going to be really fun. It's one of the Leviathan pack missions. So to run through my list, as you guys would always know what I'm running, we've got the Captain, who is my Warlord. He's got Adept of the Codex. We've got the Lieutenant with the Storm Shield there. He's got Fire Discipline. Then we've got the Lieutenant in Phobos Armor. Over here we have got a unit of 5 Infiltrators who are freshly painted as well. Unit of 5 Incursors with Haywire Mines up. The Infiltrators as well. Standard Helix Gauntlet Comms Array as well. We've got the Assault Intercessors who have got 2 Plasma Pistols and a Power Fist on the Sergeant. We've then got the unit of 3 Blade Guard Vets. We've got 2 units of 5 Scouts with Bolters and a Heavy Bolter in each. We've got the 5 Stern Guard, 10 Stern Guard with Power Fist on the Sergeant and Stern Guard Bolt Rifles. 2 units of 3 Deathwatch Bikes with 2 long Vigil melee weapons, and on the Sergeants we've got the Xenophase Blades. We've got the 3 Devastator Centurions with twin las cannons and Centurion missile launchers. We've got the Whirlwind in there with Hunter Killer Missile Stormbolter. The Predator with 3 las cannons, 1 twin, 2 regular Hunter Killer Missile Stormbolter, and then 2 Redemptive Dreadnoughts with the Macroplasma Cannons, the Onslaught Gatling Cannons, Stormbolters, and Icarus Launcher to round out the 2,000 point list for myself. And Sam, do you want to walk us through what you were running today?
Yeah, sure. So we have a Knight Lancer who is big, chunky anti-tank Thrasis Knight. He's a little bit quicker than a normal Knight with 14-inch movement and 25 wounds, so he's also a little tankier.
Yep.
Always on for invuln save, and he gets a free tank shock, which is the important part. He is taking Aura of Terror, which is the Chaos Knight sticky objectives enhancement, which also gives out the Chaos Knight's aura for forcing battle shock and -1 leadership for any objective he stickies himself.
Yep.
We then also have the Knight Rampager. He gets a once per game advance and charge and sustain hits when he charges. His enhancement today is just a Panoply of Cursed Knights, which is Armor of Contempt.
Yep.
We are then running for our regular War Dogs. We have 3 Brigands with Havoc multi-launchers. Their ability is just +1 AP if they're shooting the closest target, and they have all-rounders for shooting. So anti-infantry main gun, and then also a thermal spear for anti-tank. We're then running 3 Carnivores. 2 of them are heavy stubbers, and 1 of them has a Havoc multi-launcher. They are just rerolls the charge, and they are my melee specialist knights. For allies, we are running 3 Swarms of Nurglings, who are just still relevant. They're objective jockeys that just kind of teleport to the backline and then also deny infiltrate.
Yep.
We are running 1 Beast of Nurgle, who is a very, very fun, tanky objective jockey. He's AC2, so he can potentially snipe an objective. And he is Toughness 9 with 7 wounds and regaining all his wounds if he's not killed. So we actually do have to focus fire him. Yep. Otherwise he just scores a million free points in the backline.
Yeah, I've got to really make sure I screen out my backfield from that guy. But it's going to be a really interesting game, guys. See how this goes. We're going to set up objectives and set up deployment, and then we'll come back after that is done. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so we've finished deployment. Now, I won the roll-off for Defender, but Sam won the roll-off to place the objectives. So we've actually got 2 on this side of the table, which is why I picked this side, and then Sam's got 1 in no man's land there, and we've each mirrored each other's deployment zone ones as well. So for my deployment, starting from left to right, we've got the Deathwatch bikes backed up by a Redemptor Dreadnought there, followed by the Blade Guard and the Stern Guard beside each other with 2 characters. We've then got the Infiltrators creating that 12-inch no deep strike bubble and being extended by the Whirlwind in the back. Another Redemptor Dreadnought backing up the center there. Then we've got the Centurions on the second level with the Incursors down the bottom as well. Unit of Scouts just down the bottom here, ready to be picked up at the end of Sam's turn. Predator right on the line, ready to pop out where needed. In terms of Infiltrators, I've just got a unit of 5 Scouts down on this left-hand side, my right-hand side actually, and then on the other side we have also got a unit of 3 Deathwatch bikes right out on my extreme right-hand flank, just to kind of buy some time, I think, and see how they actually go in this one. And Sam, do you want to walk through your deployment?
Alright, so my deployment is very, very aggressive. Where I've placed the objectives, I was considering if I lost the roll-off, they're in spots that where if Scott wins the roll-off and comes up, I can just run in and get turn 1 charges. But they're also in spots where I can very inconsequentially place a big chunky knight on it, and Scott has to dedicate a lot of shooting at.
Yes.
All the Brigands and the Warder and the Carnivores are also placed in positions where once I've moved those big chunky knights up, the plan is if Scott dedicates any large amount of shooting to the big ones, they are in positions to get early game charges as well. With the Carnivores and Brigands mostly backed up in squads of 2, but also like there's the 2 Carnivores there next to the Rampager for rerolls to hit, and there is the Brigands up there with the Lancer, so everyone can advance on turn 1 and get assault from the Lancer.
Yeah, so going to be a really interesting game. First off, we'll get the handshake on camera, as I like to do over the dice tray. Sam, good luck.
Good luck.
And let's see who is going to get first turn. Oh, in the tray. In the tray. It is going to be the Deathwatch. So Deathwatch going first. We'll come back to how things turn out at the bottom of my turn 1. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So bottom of my battle round 1. Not much really happened. My draws were Capture Enemy Outpost and Overwhelming Force. There was nothing on objectives except for my own units. So both of those dud draws discarded them for a CP. But how we moved up, Centurions moved up a level. I did fail the normal move roll on the Incursors, so the Lieutenant's sticking out. That could be very problematic for me. The Redemptor had enough movement to get into there so he could put some shots on to the Rampager. The other Redemptor Dreadnought down on this flank was able to move up and support those bikes who were creating a shield line, but of course Knights of Shade can just ignore them. The Whirlwind did target the Nurglings, which are directly, wrong way, down underneath there, and killed 1 base, and there's 1 on 2 wounds. And then between the Centurions and the Predator, we were able to kill 1 of the Carnivores. So, you know, 1 knight down, there's still 2, 4, 6, 7 left to go, so we'll see how Sam's turn 1 goes. Alrighty, so that's the bottom of turn 1. Sam, do you want to walk us through what you drew for your secondaries and what you did in your turn?
Alright, so my secondaries were Investigate Signals and Bring It Down. So, right, much better start.
Yep.
Movement phase, as I mentioned in our first segment, we moved Carnivores and stuff up after staging aggressively, because Scott kind of needed to move stuff up to actually get any shooting attacks and to stage stuff for his next turn.
Yep.
So, on this side of the board, we moved up the Rampager to just clear out the bikes. He couldn't get any good charges, but he is now staged for a very nasty charge if he leaves the C next turn.
Yep.
Both Carnivores charged into the Redemptor Dreadnoughts, killing 1 and leaving 1 on 1 wound, just barely rolling short. The Brigands had moved up and did some shooting attacks. Didn't really kill anything, but hey, we spread some wounds around, so Scott now has to roll a couple Battle Shock tests for the Night Rule.
Yep.
Lancer moved up after sticking in 1 objective to touch the other objective. So he is also staged for potentially a nasty charge with that 14-inch movement of his. And right in the back, we have a Brigand just scoring 2 points for Investigate Signals, which I kind of not sure if I would have rather the CP or the 2 points, but I think the 2 points just to get us ahead, depending on how this next turn swings, is probably worth it.
Yeah, definitely agree. Getting those 2 points on the board is good. So currently going into turn 2, I'm on 0 points, Sam's on 6. Let's see how turn 2 goes for me. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the end of my turn 2 for the top of the battle round 2. I managed to draw Assassinate and bring it down. As you can see, I popped Devastator Doctrine army-wide, but I did put the Captain and the Blade Guard into Assault Doctrine, which is really important. So basically, the Stern Guard all moved onto the terrain so they could see the Carnivore that was up and had deleted the Redemptor Dreadnought, which had died to the grenade strat that the Chaos Knights have to heal.
Terror Shades.
Terror Shades, yeah.
So 1 CP strat, after you fail a battle shock test, I grenades you, so roll 6d6 for each 4-up, I gain a wound back, and you take a mortal wound.
Yep.
So the Rampager pops that stratagem, gaining 3 wounds back, and then killing the Redemptor Dreadnought.
Yeah, because the Redemptor failed battle shock. So we did manage to kill both Carnivores that were up in our grill, which was really nice. The Stern Guard popped off. They did 19 lethals and sustains and 30 wound rolls total. I think it was only 5 dev wounds. But yeah, that was absolutely nuts, I will say. But to pay for that, the Predator completely whiffed against the Rampager. So checks and balances, ladies and gentlemen. But the Centurions did put a ton of damage onto the Rampager. It's only on 7 wounds left. The Whirlwind did manage to finally kill those pesky Nurglings as well. And so the Blade Guard went into the Carnivore. It had 11 wounds. Popped onto the chapter for free with the Captain, using his ability for extra attacks and dev wounds. The Blade Guard and the Captain decided it just wasn't that Carnivore's day, and just did their thing, which was awesome. It was great to see. So I scored 7 points on Bring It Down, and I've decided to keep Assassinate at this point because the Rampager is on 7 wounds. So we'll see how we go going into Sam's turn 2. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the end of Battle Round 2 with Sam finishing the bottom of the turn. Do you want to walk through what secondaries you got and what you ended up doing during your turn?
Alrighty, so for that turn, I probably drew the worst case scenario for Scott. We got Storm Hostile Objective and Secure No Man's Land. At the start of the turn, I scored max for primary because the Rampager who was on this objective passed his Battle Shock test. The Lancer stick in this objective, and I still controlled my home field objective. We moved up our stuff, and I took a risk with the Rampager, knowing that Scott had CP to Overwatch. I had to bank on him overwatching when I moved rather than when I charged.
Yeah.
So the Rampager used his once per game advance to advance and Knights of Shade through this wall here and pop himself behind a Stern Guard, setting up for a charge.
Yep.
Scott did land a hit on him, but was not enough to actually take the Rampager down in Overwatch, thankfully.
Yep.
We then also took a calculated risk with the Lancer. Moving up here, I misplayed and wanted to charge the Centurions, but then realised, oh wait, no, I can't because they're up on the top of the 2nd floor. But it's okay, we charged the Predator tank and mopped up the Scouts.
Yep.
The Lancer Aura gave both Brigands assault, so I was able to get some shooting attacks out with them. So, overall, we've lost this objective, but I have 18 OC on Scott's home objective. Both units of Marines in there will be needing to make a lot of battle shock tests.
Oh yeah.
And the Lancer will be hopefully living, 25 wounds. Lancer should live that and sticky that objective next turn.
Yep.
Having 3 objectives stickied as well as taking Scott's home field.
Yeah, this is really desperate for the Deathwatch. Let's see how turn 3 goes, because this is a brutal game. I'm loving it. It's so much fun. But yeah, absolutely brutal. Let's see how turn 3 goes for us. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so that's the end of my turn for Battle Round 3. We had the deadest draw of possible of attempting target, which Sam put under the Lancer, which I was like, I could go for it, but no, there's no chance. So I tried to clean up my home field a little bit. The Blade Guard went into the Rampager with the Captain, and then the Incursors with army-wide Assault Doctrine, so Advance Charge. They went into the Brigand as well, not doing anything, except out just doing some stuff in shooting. But then the Blade Guard left the the Rampager alive on 2 wounds, and then the Captain is surviving on 3 wounds currently. However, we are getting up into the other side of the field. We have got the Deathwatch bikes on an objective over here as well, and my Assault Intercessors did get into combat with a unit of Nurglings in Sam's backfield, so I was able to actually take Sam's backfield objective as well, keeping it at 10 points going into turn 3. So there's not a lot left on either side. It's going to be really interesting and really quick to see how the rest of the game goes. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so that's at the end of the game. I know we cut it a little bit shorter with the videos and such. It was actually going pretty quickly in terms of the game progression. So basically, Sam does end up tabling me here and getting 100 to 32. So yeah, really, really brutal game. Yeah, I just don't know what to say. Dice just did dice things. Objective card draws just didn't go my way.
Your early game objectives were rough, and then like
Yes, and not being able to get assassinate, like the Blade Guard vets. We were just talking about how I forgot that I had oaths on there, and I missed 3 times, so I could have potentially gotten more damage against the Rampager to kill it for assassinate, which then would have meant there's more stuff going on there.
See, it did only live on 2, and they're doing 2 damage each as well. So those 3 attacks potentially would have mattered as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. The Knight Lancer, absolutely brutal. The 22 dice on the tank shock for free is, yeah, something to behold. It just picks up units. Even though it caps at 6, it still does a lot of damage. Brigands. You said you were having, that there was a bit of an issue that you had with the Brigands?
So the Brigands, like, I do like them, they're just a bit expensive. My main thought process with especially going into the new mission pack with Battle Line and stuff, are more important. I definitely need to keep the Brigands, but with the Titanic change, I feel like more dedicated anti-tank shooting would be good.
Yep.
Which I have been considering replacing the Rampager for, actually.
Yeah.
So Brigands are kind of a staple, and just because the other War Dog options aren't good enough, if Executioners, our versions of Hellruns, had anti-fly, same as the Imperial Knight versions, I'd consider them, but it's kind of, unless I want the Stalker for the character stuff, so you can take an enhancement, there's no real reason for me to take the others outside of Brigands and Carnivores.
Yep.
The Rampager, however, we'll have the VOD of the whole game up on my channel once I've edited it, but this game kind of did showcase the issue I've been having with the Rampager specifically. It's just how swingy it is.
Yeah.
Like, this whole side of the board here, I took a massive gamble, which paid off, but then Scott's response was correct and should have killed the Rampager.
Yes.
But the Rampager not dying at every step he should have died is what allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
If at any point here the Rampager had died, that's, alright, cool, everything's now going to the Lancer instead, which is a lot tankier, but it's sort of, me not having that higher strength at range means I need to put my 2 giant things, which is, they're both over 400 points each. That's me putting 900 points, including enhancements, into my opponent's deployment zone, basically, to actually get that damage across.
Yeah. I definitely think, specifically with this guy, I made the mistake of overwatching with the Centurions. I should have done it with Sternguard, because they had lethal sustained hits 1s, and then any wounds that I got through, I would be going for 6s for dev wounds.
Yeah.
I definitely did misplay there. And because you can overwatch at the end of the move as well, I could have waited and gone, okay, see where you do move, and then overwatch with the Sternguard. Or I could have held off until charge phase, which is generally the better play as well. So then it's like, cool, there's the intent already there to move into charge, and then it's like, cool, if something else doesn't go into them, that unit then survives, they can then do some other things in other spots.
Yeah, exactly. And then especially it'll be in Scott's VOD for turn 2, I believe, and in my video as well.
Yeah.
Like, the Rampager was here, I rolled my advance roll for his once per game advance and charge, and was able to, like, alright, cool. At that stage, I can see what my advance roll is before I decide to commit to Knights of Shade.
Yep.
So as soon as I saw I can, in fact, make it here, I just stick him over here, and that's when, obviously, misplay around, but, like, with perfect, obviously, end of the game, you have perfect information, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah, but definitely a great game, Sam. Thank you for playing. It was great to have you on the channel, and definitely have you on again in the future. And hope everyone at home did enjoy this Wargaming highlights. Alrighty, everyone. So as you saw in that game, the Deathwatch absolutely got decimated by the Chaos Knights, losing 100 to 32. Sam, excellent job piloting the Chaos Knights into my list, and I just had bad secondaries and bad dice. Unfortunately, bad secondaries and bad dice do happen, and, you know, there's not too much that you can really do about it. And so I just played the best game that I could with what I was getting, and, you know, sometimes variance just comes and gets you. I will say, though, I had a couple of fun moments where the Sternguard absolutely popping off and doing like 19 lethal and sustains in a single turn thanks to Oath of the Moment. Really, really spicy there into a single Chaos Knight. War Dog, I believe it was a Carnivore as well, being able to knock that down to kill basically, and then the Blade Guard vets with the captain going into a full health carnivore as well and being able to kill it with Lance and an additional -1 AP to really bring home the damage there with their Mastercraft power swords, which was really, really solid to see, and I'm really happy with the Blade Guard unit as an addition into this list. However, with the Prior Nexus missions coming out in the next week to 2 weeks, it is potentially going to change my list up again because, you know, obviously going to pivot a little bit more into the newer missions to maintain relevance and to be able to pilot them better. But again, not sure what that's going to look like until after we get balanced data slate and the points update that are also coming out at the same time. So that's something we're going to be keeping an eye on, and I'm going to be tweaking my list in accordance to that as well. And so that is going to be it for our Wargaming highlights for this one, team. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching today's Wargaming highlights video. I hope you did enjoy our version of battle reports, and if you have any feedback in our format, or if there's anything in particular that you do like, feel free to let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit with a like, and if you haven't already and you want to catch more content that we create here at the ATWN, feel free to hit the channel with a subscription and turn on that notification bell so you're able to be notified as to when we release more content here on the network as well, whether that's more tournament focused content, whether that's more intros and how to, you know, play the game initially, or getting into the hobbying side and learning a bit more and developing hobbying skills as well in our From Spirited Tabletop series, or even staying up to date with the South Pacific ITC rankings. Now, if you want to catch any hobbying sessions or tournament coverage live, make sure to head over to Twitch as well, where you can find us at Australis TWN over there, and drop us with a follow so that you're able to catch the hobbying streams with myself every week, and also the tournament coverage when we provide tournament coverage to the Australian competitive 40k scene across primarily the eastern seaboard of the country at the moment. When we do so, and we tend to do those about once a month, once every 2 months now, which is absolutely phenomenal. But ladies and gentlemen, also want to give a massive shout out to all of our Twitch subscribers and Ko-Fi supporters as well. Your financial contributions, guys, really do help the work that we are able to do as a network and cover our costs as the business, as well as also invest into our gear and continue to build the brand in terms of what we are doing here in the Australian 40k competitive scene. So if you do want to support us, feel free to check out the Ko-Fi link down below, where you can support us from as little as $5 Australian a month, or there is a $10 Australian a month tier as well. All the benefits for those are fulfilled in the Discord, and if you are a Twitch subscriber, you still get those benefits. However, the financial capacity of Twitch, we only get 50% of any Twitch subs as well, so just bear that in mind too. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to catch you in the next one.